great. And you move on with your life. You, move on to other work. And then 5 years go by and you have someone come up to you and say, hey, I read that paper. That was so incredible. I would love to make some ring cloud plots like that. Raise your hand if you feel confident at this point that you could give them something that they could repeat. All right, well then you're up next because it was a lot, right? There's a lot of details and there's a lot of different commands that we ran. And I would be challenged even maybe a few days from now to come up with those commands by heart. And so that really brings us to a tool within our tools called Provenance Replay. So if you would like to follow along with me, we're going to go back to our, I'm going to close out of this and close out of this. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go back to the beginning here and get introduced to Provenance Replay. Oh, go back. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sorry. Yes. All right, sweet. So I can see here at the top, I have my tilde and then it says workshop input data. I know that that's not the directory I want to be in. So does anyone want to tell me what command I'm going to want to use to get out of here? Okay, you're going to do, I heard someone say it, CD, that's right. Okay, and CD is just change directory, and you could do the ... again, but you can also, if you want to get all the way out, you can just do CD and press enter, and that will take us here. And just for my sanity check, I'm going to do LS to make sure that that looks correct to me. All right. So we have, is that screen flickering? Okay. All right, so we know that our data is in 2024 workshop. So let's change our directory to that one. So we're going to do CD again, and then 2024, and then I can tab complete here and it should complete that for me. And then I can press enter. Should I unplug it and plug it back in? Okay, yeah, I thought I heard him back there too. Hold, I'm going to unplug this really quick and see if that helps. Because maybe it's just this. Okay, maybe that will be better. Let's continue on. All right, so to make sure that, again, I'm in the same place, I will LS. And it may seem like a lot of like LS, CD, LS, but you really just want to make sure, because you might not, if you're in the command line, you're not going to see these files on the side, so you want to really print that out every time to make sure you are where you think you are. So yeah, so I see my artifacts in here, and then I'm going to do my QIIME command. So I'm going to do QIIME tools and then replay. And then I could type it all out, but I'm going to see if I can tab complete. Okay, so it gave me the dash, but then I had to give it the PR and then I could tab again. Okay, so now I have my command. And at this point, you could do -- help if you weren't sure what inputs you needed. Let's go ahead and do that just to see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Share. Oh no. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Is it just desktop then? Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I hope people didn't miss out on too much there. And I just, yeah, okay. All right, so we've seen this menu a few times in all of our other commands that we've run, but we can see that this one is required in file path is what that FP stands for. And then the other ones are defaulted. So I typically don't worry about those unless I'm trying to do something special. And then required again is out file path. Okay, so I'm going to press the up arrow to get back to my command, hopefully, but we'll wake up. All right. Okay, it's not taking me typing, so maybe I just need to wait for a second. I was just going to type the command, but if you aren't frozen, you can press the up arrow once and you should get your command back. If you're having trouble, raise your hand and we can come help you. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's being slow on my screen here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool that we've gotten this far without any crazy technical difficulties, so I'll take it. All right, so here we go. Okay, so QIIME, tools, replay, provenance, and then it was --in -fp. And then, okay, so actually I'm gonna go back because I'm not where you guys are. My directory right now is my home directory. So I'm going to CD to match you guys and get into the 2024. All right, now we should be matching. And now I'm gonna do my command. All right, in FB, cool. And then because I am in the file that has all of the artifacts that we generated, I can just press dot because that's saying, just like we use dot dot to change directory to say move back, I can use one dot to say right here, right where we are. I want to be here and I want to use these files. So I'm just going to press dot and then I'm going to press space and then dot dot or dash dash out dash FP. Oops. And then again, I want this to come out and be here. And then I'm going to name it something. So I'm going to say this is my workshop dash provenance. Okay. Raise your hand if you're not with me and you need a couple minutes. Cool, great. I press enter and let's see what happens. And with the bigger your analysis, the longer this can take, but it is running and you will start to see things coming out. And luckily our analysis wasn't too massive for this workshop, so we got ours pretty quickly. Okay, so now I can ls and ls again and make sure that it printed out. And here it is, I see it, workshop provenance. All right, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna click on this and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this kind of gives us some information, and this will be the same with every single provenance, unless provenance replay has been updated. They should be pretty similar. This just gives you a little bit of information, and you can feel free to read this on your own. But yeah, some of this might not be relevant to you, but some of it might be helpful. All right. And then here is another thing that will stay the same, which is a function to create results collections. And then scrolling down, we get our first command that we started with. So this was part of the wget at the beginning, and then continuing on, we can see this filter samples here. And this was actually done on our feature table. We didn't run this one together, but this was done on our feature table before we even loaded it in. So Provenance Replay keeps track of everything that was done to things, even if maybe you didn't do it. And so this could be helpful to you to know if you do receive a feature table from a collaborator and you want to say like, okay, wait, what was done exactly to this feature table before I got it? And so we can see, okay, here, this is not something that we did together, but now we know that it did happen. All right, so let's keep scrolling. I did feature table summarize with you all. And as you can see, it's not giving us our exact names of our tables. This says -0 and this says your metadata file path. And yeah, this is just how they will be labeled for you and allows people to fill in. They can copy this command and then fill in their metadata and use that. But some things that it does keep is our max depth here from alpha rarefaction. This is the number that we chose, if you remember. And maybe, I'm not sure, did we use all these parameters? Is this one of the ones? Okay, yeah, I'll keep scrolling. Right, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I feel like core metrics is a good example of this. So looking at core metrics, when you ran core metrics, I don't think that we specified all of these. Okay. So you might look at this and be like, wait. This is way more than I remember doing for core metrics. And that's because QIIME has a command output file path and or output directory. And that will give you a directory filled with all of these files listed here. And so what Provenance Replay does is it shows you everything and not necessarily everything that you specified. So you might just use one parameter in a command, but there will be defaulted parameters that will also run. And those will show up in Provenance as their defaults. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, cool. Yep, and then we can see our linear mixed effects here and our FMT, CC. So as you can see, this is a pretty straightforward laundry list that you could easily hand over to anyone interested in running an analysis like this, and they could easily repeat it and come to you with questions as well if they had them. But yeah, keep this in your back pocket. The following QIIME2 results were parsed to produce this script. Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
So the question was, what is this information down at the bottom where it says the following QIIME2 results were parsed to produce the script? Basically, the way that we can handle provenance in part is because every QIIME2 result that's created is assigned a unique identifier. And that unique identifier, it's what's called a UUID. They're used all over the place on the internet, but they're basically like database quality identifiers, and they're not guaranteed, but they are effectively guaranteed to be universally unique. And so you will never generate another QIIME2 result that has this same identifier, nor will anybody else in the world. And so, and if you rerun a command and regenerate a result, it's going to have two different UUIDs. And we use those internally to connect results up with like the commands that called them. So it's like how we refer internally to these. This isn't ever information that you need, but it does come in handy sometimes. And so, for example, if you are going through, like, let's say you've got a big directory of analysis results and there's 5 feature tables in there, what you can do, let me just demonstrate this. So this is just a command that's called QIIME tools peek. Let me just. And so like I can see what the UUIDs are that are associated with each of these data artifacts. And so basically, like if I um, look at provenance and I say, okay, I want to find that feature table that was used to create this analysis result, this is how you would do it. Like these UUIDs are the information that are going to do that. And like the file names themselves, those aren't reliable because those can be changed. Anybody can, just rename that file. And so you don't know that like feature table.qza is actually the one that was used in your analysis. These UUIDs tell you this is this specific result, and those won't ever change. And you don't, like as a user, you don't really need to concern yourself with these. If you ever had a question, related to this, where like you're trying to piece this together, that's the kind of thing we're more than happy to help with on the QIIME2 forum. But I think you had another question. Yes. Yeah, they are. And so if we were to, so remember just going all the way back to the first day, I said that these are just fancy zip files. And if I were to, let me just do that. I think I'm going to show just extracting one altogether. So I'm going to just download one of these files. And so this is that feature table.qza. And I am just gonna do a little magic here because like I said, these are just zip files. And so if I just change the name to .zip, I can like double click on this in Mac OS. And it's basically gonna open up that archive. And now you can actually see that this folder that gets created starts with EB198. And if we go down here, we can see that is this UUID, EB198. And then if we open that up, it's also stored in this metadata file. It's this EB198. Again, I realize this is a little small to see up here. But this is a unique identifier for this particular feature table. And so what these actually are, just in case you're wondering, is that they're gigantic numbers. And so these are, you see some letters in there, but it's because it's using base 16 numbers. And so rather than 10 digits, 0 through 9, there's 16 digits, 0 through 15. And so the letters A through F are used to represent digits in this case. And so this is a huge number. The uh, the the chances. So basically, what it's doing when it creates one of these is it's just choosing a random number that's in the range between 0 and some massive, massive number. And I think like the odds of having two of these get generated the same is something like equivalent to picking the same hydrogen atom out of all the atoms in the universe twice in a row, or something like on that scale. So it's not guaranteed, but it's effectively guaranteed that you will never have one with the same result.
Any other questions about provenance? You can also run this on just one artifact as well. You don't always have to have a full directory that you are, going to replicate it. Like I said, if you received a feature table, you could just run Provenance replay on that and get whatever was worked on that. So yeah, that's Provenance replay.
All right. And I just thought, if we go back to that workshop provenance, just since we were just talking about this, I'm not sure if I can zoom that in. But you can see here, this is just telling us, just to tie this back to provenance, this is just telling us that that feature table is one of the things that was used to generate this particular history that we're looking at. Yeah. Okay, so that for the most part wraps up what we wanted to show you, or what we have time to show you with respect to QIIME2 during this event. And sorry about the flicker